Welcome to Finnish Brutality. This is day one, the first 4 stages, and I should say the good idea fairy hit me, and I thought it would be awesome to do this match in one of Varusteleka's MO5 camo kilts. It was actually a bit colder than I had originally anticipated. The kilt was perhaps not the greatest idea, but we'll go ahead and start with it here anyway. The first stage, now I should say, overall for the match, all penalties are worth 60 seconds of penalty time per. First stage here, we start in the Sisu armored truck.
Are you ready? Ready. Stand by!
And the first bit when the timer goes off is to stand up through the hatch, the machine gun hatch there, and engage a dueling tree. 6 targets, you have to flip them all over. Really difficult to get a proper camera angle on this, so you can't really see what's going on, but it's your standard dueling tree at something like 15 yards. I managed to clear it without too much trouble. You then dump your pistol in a box on top of the truck, get out of the truck, grab your rifle and an ammo can that is loaded to the gills with 7.62 by 39. I think it's 7.62 by 39 blank for Finnish Army training. And run up here to this berm. And from the top of the berm, you have to engage and spin a rifle spinner. I really hate rifle spinners. I am using my What Would Stoner Do carbine here with an Aimpoint Comp M5 and a little very lightweight B&T bipod that I really like. And I opt to do this the safe, it's slow but safe, which is to say I'm going to take a shot at it once every time I see the bottom plate swinging away from me. It was a little hard. Actually, it was quite difficult to see this properly. You'll notice I popped my head up at one point just to figure out, is it going towards me or away from me? I'm using, you can see the sparks there. I'm using 62 grain soft steel core ammo there, which gives some nice sparks off the spinner. All right, now we move to the sequence of 3 barrels. You have 1 shot on each of the 2 steel targets at the end of the range. If you miss the shot, you have to make it up as a penalty. So, being careful, careful. That's a hit. There are 2 steel targets down at the end there. You can't even really see them from here. That one was a miss. So I have to go over to the cone, go prone, get the hit. There we go. And then get back up, retrieve the ammo can, move to the next barrel, and continue doing the same thing. The kilt was a bit drafty and chilly, but actually, to be honest, as long as you keep moving in between stages, you can stay warm pretty well here. So again, I managed to get 1 hit, 1 miss, so I have to make up that 1 miss over here at the penalty cone. I wish I'd been able to get the original hits as quickly as I get the makeup hits there, but I got 1 more to go. This barrel has been chopped off with a flame torch or something, and it is all jagged on top.
Hit! If you're finished, unload and show clear.
So there's my first stage. I actually did, I think, quite acceptably well. No penalties.
Yes. 16413.
I didn't time out. That's what really matters.
I was really concerned about the spinner there. So able to clear it, that's great. Next up, we have the coolest stage of the entire match. This is the infamous trench stage. You have 180 seconds to make 13 hits, and you do it from in the trench. That's mid 30-degree water. It's about waist deep. Boosh. Until my kilt gets all soaking wet, it's got a little bit of floatiness to it there. So, start in position. All right, and the deal is you get 1 shot from each port. So if you hit, great. If you don't hit, you have to keep moving on anyway. You move to the next port, get 1 shot to make 1 hit. The goal of the stage is to make 13 hits. There's 1. If you can make 13, you are done and you can get out. If you don't make 13, and forgetting my safety doesn't help, and that's a miss. So if you have too many misses like that and you don't make 13, you stay in for a full 180 seconds. There we go. And make as many hits as you actually can. Now, this was originally supposed to be one continuous long... I fell in a bit there. That was chilly. Supposed to be one continuous long trench, but they found a giant rock when they went to excavate it, so it ended up being 2 separate trenches. And by the way, I feel like an idiot. There's a hit. That wool shell jacket that I'm wearing, I put on just to stay warm until I was the shooter on deck, and then I completely forgot to take it off. So I not only got it kind of soaking wet here, but I also look a bit like a humpback with that jacket over my armor. And heat of the moment, I just totally forgot to get rid of that jacket. There we go. Now, originally this was going to be penalties for any hits you don't get of the 13. Because that hump in the middle really slowed people down, made the stage a lot harder, they changed it to each shot being worth a 15-second bonus. Just so that it wasn't quite as deadly of a stage on people's... this would have determined the match effectively. So, forgot the safety again. Performance really degrades when you're cold, I gotta say. And frankly, I was not hugely excited to get into this stage, standing around waiting for it to happen. But, nope, another miss. But it turned out to be absolutely my favorite stage of the whole match. Putting yourself into a physical challenge like this that you've never done before, that you're not sure about, and another miss. And then discovering that, yeah, you know what? You can do it. It's not that big of a deal. You're not going to get frostbite or hypothermia from 3 minutes in that trench. There we go. And a hit. Really, actually a very rewarding stage to do. This is not something you will find at like any other match anywhere. And this is a big part of why Finnish Brutality is such a fantastic experience. There we go. So I could have actually made the 13 hits in this stage. I made more than 13 shots, but my shooting sucked, which is rather disappointing to me. We'll see some more of that through the rest of the match. Yeah, and one more miss. So I'm going to time out here. There's the timer. It's all done. Put the rifle on safe, hand it up to the RO, and get out and go change into some warm clothes.
Ah, that was terrible. All that, no hits.
And frankly, the kilt really wasn't any more cold than people who were wearing pants into that water. So, stage 3, I ditch the kilt and go for a pair of dry pants, which I'll use for the rest of the match. This stage, third stage, starts with a bonus shot worth 15 seconds with a Sako M10 on loan from Sako from the top of an APC. It's really a pretty easy hit to make. So open that up, climb down through the APC, retrieve your rifle, which you have pre-staged there, and then you have to engage each of the 3 targets twice without shooting double taps. And you have to, rack the rifle first. No double taps is a classic 2-gun style of thing. The idea is you have to make 6 hits, but you also have to make 6 target transitions, which makes it more difficult than being able to just get 1 sight picture and make 2 hits with it. These targets are pretty difficult to see, especially the one on the right. There are 3 of them out there in that middle berm, whether you believe it or not. Anyway, you make your 6 hits from here. You then run up to the shooting port and do it again through the shooting port. You do have to be careful here to get your muzzle above the top of the shooting port. There were a bunch of people who had issues with sight over bore and put rounds into the wood in the very front of the shooting port, including me, I believe, right there. There we go. So this is pretty simple, basic stuff. Target's a little hard to see, but the shooting position's easy enough. Once you make those hits, however, then you have to crawl under barbed wire. It's actually a little higher up than I was afraid it might be. But that doesn't look like much, but that can be a pretty tiring exercise to try crawling really fast. Now, from the bunker on the other side, you have to do the same thing. 6 hits. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. What I did here was deliberately leave my bipod on the rifle, but folded up, and I used it to try and keep the muzzle high enough that I wouldn't have any problems hitting the bottom of the port, which mostly worked. That sequence went fairly well. So we'll go ahead and change mags here because I know I'm getting low. And then you have to crawl back under the barbed wire while being encouraged by the guys from Polenar. So you'll notice this crawl is a little bit slower than the first one. Like I said, this is harder than it necessarily looks. So a last set. Have to make, again, 2 hits on each target without repeating any. And, yep, right there I'm hitting the wood at the front of the port. So push the bipod out a little farther so it gets the muzzle up. And hopefully we're good. This one really is a pretty straightforward stage. And come on, 2 more. 1 more. And at this point, I didn't realize it at the time, but I'm hitting that wood again. And so I thought I had a good sight picture. I was trying to figure out why I'm not hitting. And I parred out with 1 hit left to go. So that is a 60-second penalty, unfortunately. And I thought I just had a fogged up lens or something that was preventing a good sight picture. I didn't realize until watching the footage afterwards that I had been hitting the bunker.
Not nice. I couldn't see the last one. My lens is fogged up. I thought I was shooting at where it was. Couldn't see it. That is my first penalty of the match, and I'm annoyed by it. Otherwise, it was pretty good.
The crawling was fun. So, on to our last stage for day 1. This last stage is it's pistol only, and it is a blind stage. So we were told how many targets we would have, but we didn't get to look at the stage, didn't get to walk through it, nothing. This is a really hard type of stage to run successfully. It takes a really good RO staff and a good physical setup to make it possible, and Varusteleka did a fantastic job of pulling it off. So first, I will let the cameraman here get the heck out of the way, and then we'll start engaging targets. So there's going to be 1 hanging plate that I have to hit twice, and 3 poppers on this first bay. So there was 1 popper. There's the hanging plate. There's the second popper. And for the life of me, I could not find the 3rd popper anywhere. So I'm going to spend a little while here looking for it. I will tell you that for a pistol, I'm using a Bull Armory M5, which is like an introductory race gun. It's a 9mm 1911 polymer frame double stack. Very good match gun. May not have been the greatest choice for this competition, but it actually worked just fine for me on this stage. The problem I had was, and I should have been able to see that popper from right there. It's hiding behind the leftmost no shoot, but I can't find it. I've looked. And I just ultimately, I cut the bleeding, give up, move to the next stage, or the next bay. Here, there are going to be 2 hanging plates and 3 poppers. There are my plates. There's a popper. Down it goes. This bay went a lot better. There's a popper, and clear. And moving to the 3rd and final bay, we again have 3 poppers and 1 plate. And my shooting kind of falls apart here. I mentioned that I'll be disappointed by my shooting in a bunch of the stages. This is one of them. It didn't hurt me all that badly, but really, I should have been able to make much better hits than this. I got 1 popper left. There it is. And this was, and a hanging plate. This was a really fun stage to shoot. The idea of it being blind, and it's just how well can you search and locate and engage targets, that was really cool. I could have done better at it. In fact, placement-wise, this is my worst stage of the entire match, but it was still a pretty fun one. And that's it for day number 1. We will be back tomorrow with the second set of 4 stages for day number 2. Thanks for watching.